Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode. Today we will be looking at a slightly more complex kind of deck. So it's going to be an Abzan Mutate deck with a graveyard theme. So we will be using Nethroi, Apex of Death here. It's a really powerful creature. It has Mutate for 4, Selesnya black, so you can put that onto a non-human creature, and if you do, you can return any number of creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can use this after the game's gone long, and you can literally resurrect your entire army from your graveyard as long as your opponent hasn't touched it. And on top of that, it's a 5/5 body with Death Touch and Lifelink, so there's a lot of stuff going for this general. The way I've built this is there's quite a lot of self-mill. So we've got cards like Stitch's Supplier, which is a classic all-star just for putting stuff into your graveyard. We've got a new card from the Midnight Hunt set, and if you're upkeep you can mill a card. And then if there are 3 more creature cards in your graveyard, you can transform it. And then it gets bigger from there. Other good cards, you've got Egon, God of Death. So you've got both sides of this are really powerful in this deck. So you've got the 3-mana 6/6 Death Touch. And on upkeep you can exile 2 cards in your graveyard. If you can't, sack them and draw a card. So early game you don't want to be playing this, but you can, however, use Throne of Death early game. And that's fantastic to fill your graveyard. So it can be risky, constantly filling your graveyard, but there's a lot of good payoffs. So some of the smaller payoffs are stuff like Necropanther. If you can mutate this, you can get smaller creatures back into play. And then the ultimate payoff for the deck will be Eerie Ultimatum, to return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. So in Commander and Historic Brawl, that literally says every card from your graveyard to play. So it's the best card in the deck. You want to try and trigger it as much as you can. Just fill your graveyard with all sorts of junk, any sort of stuff. And yeah, you'll probably win after using this. So let's see how we do today in some games of Historic Brawl. If you like the look of the deck list, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you like what you see, also subscribe. Really helps me out. Thanks a lot for that. And moving on to some games. So I'm seeing a lot of mono black discard decks of late, and it's a very mean archetype to keep facing. If we can resolve the Argyle's Bloodfast, that would be good, because that lets us draw stuff. Here comes the Tiny Bones. So let's discard the Unburial Rites here, because we can still use that again later on. And we'll go for the Mire Triton. We want to keep the Scavenger Ooze for a turn where we can use it at least once. Oh, that's a shame. That would have been a good card to exile Tiny Bones there. We can block it. Of course, we've got Death Touch as well, just in case they can pump it anyway. And of course, if they make us discard anything big, we can get it back with Unburial Rites. Interesting, they're drawing. Okay. So yeah, I think what should we do? Yeah, we'll start with the Stitch's Supply here, because if we get anything huge in the graveyard, we can resurrect it next turn. So Starrix could be good. And yeah, we might as well just go for the Scavenging Ooze anyway, because we threaten something bigger next turn. And we could even attack. So Scavenging Ooze is a good way to get rid of opponents' annoying creatures they can recur. That will be useful later on if he survives. But yeah, discard Tribal is pretty mean, because it really slows you down. Really tends to hit your land drops as well, because there does seem to be bias when deciding what to discard. A lot of people do choose to keep non-lands. Okay. So this guy needs to sacrifice another creature. Spark Harvest. Okay, so there goes the Scavenging Ooze. They are at 20, so tell you what, let's block with this, in case we hit something even better for the Unburial Rites. So quite a few Mutate cards in the graveyard. So I think what's a good thing to go for here? the Auspicious Starrix is nice. Probably never going to get to mutate on top of that. They might even have a kill spell for it now. Okay, so will the Starrix survive another turn here? So if I can mutate onto this, exile cards on top and 2 exile X permanents, or X's number of times it's been mutated, put those permanents onto the battlefield. Really powerful. One of the odd times where the mutate cost is actually larger than the regular cost. So it looks like we're going to get a window potentially. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll go for the Bloodfast first. And then we'll also play the Death Bonnet and get a combat. Unfortunately, it doesn't have trample, but we're going to swing with it nonetheless. So yeah, the Bonnet's pretty cool. So you mill on your upkeep, and then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, you flip it, and then when it flips, it becomes a 3/3. And you can exile cards from graveyards to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So yeah, definitely is a powerful early threat. Being able to draw 2 with the Argyle's Bloodfast is going to be really useful as well. So they're making us discard. Yeah, I'm happy for them to do that here. So they don't have 6 mana just yet to activate the ability. Okay, so they're going to give it a +1 counter, so it's 2/3. So annoyingly, Tiny Blows can now block our Mire Triton. And then we're going to draw a card as well to see what we get. Land is good. Ronus is quite good as well. Broodmoth. Oh, so many good choices here. I think long term, Broodmoth is better because we have 3 non-flyers here. And then we're swinging with these guys. We'll leave the Starrix back because I feel like it's better as a blocker in this situation. They're just going to chomp it anyway. But yeah, the Broodmoth is really good against board wipes because it will bring all my non-flyers back with flying counters. So they kind of have to kill the Broodmoth first before the Starrix. It's a legitimate attacker as well. They've only got 13, so their life's going down every time we discard because Tiny Bones says so. So Soul Shatter doesn't really help because the trigger goes on the stack. I'm not really sure why that had to be done in response, but now we're threatening lethal here. Yeah, that was a really weird game. So I think in a way, by doing that in their turn, they actually made it worse because it means that we have the flying attacker in our turn. So that's 10 flying, plus they would have had to block something here. So that's 12 flying. And then if they ever make us discard, they die to their own spell. So what they should have done is Soul Shattered in our turn. So that's just a good example of why it's not always good to do something just because you can. Sometimes Restraint is actually a lot more effective. So yeah, unfortunately the opponent lost that one. Okay, so we're facing a Joda 5-colour good stuff deck. They're probably going to have lots of big things. So I'm a bit out of breath. I just ran upstairs from downstairs. Just realised how obvious that statement was. If you run upstairs, I guess you can only ever come from downstairs. If anyone lives in a reality in which that's not the case, tell me in the comments below. It'd be good to know. See, that's a really great start. We've got 3 lands out, so it's almost like we went first. Oh, and they missed a land drop. Could be bad for them there. Let's go for Grizzly Salvage first, because we might get a tap land here. Reaper's good, but I'd rather go for the land. Yeah, let's play the land. We've got double green, double black, double white now. So they got a land. So now we can start screwing them over, killing their mana rocks. Deliciously brutal. And then we're going to get an extra forest when this triggers on our turn as well. Oh baby. Okay, so it's a decent starting hand versus Rolesk. Rolesk is the Simic dude from War the Spark. Flying Trample 4/5. Whenever he enters the battlefield, put 2 counters on a creature. And when he dies, proliferate twice. It's pretty cool. Nice to see something a bit different there. We don't need to reveal a card in our hand. We don't need that untapped. And also we don't need to give them information. Relic of Progenitus, fantastic. So it's possibly the best card they could have played against us. Okay. So I guess we're going to be searching for a way to kill this relic. So yeah, I've said in a few videos before, Graveyard Hate is fantastic. And this is no exception. Oh, an anti-ramp card as well. So they're very okay, so they're very meta. What can we do? So that gives black or green. I mean, Culling Ritual actually deals with both of these, so tempted to do that. No, let's be patient actually. Let's tutor for something first. What do we need? Another white source? Could get anything here. 3, 4, 5. Even go with the Liliana, I guess. That could be cool to see how well she does. And then go for an elf. Yeah, so I could have killed everything, but the Skull Prophet would have also died, and I don't want that to happen just yet. But yeah, this relic needs to go eventually because it just annihilates our deck. But we'll see if yeah. Okay. Oh sweet, so we're playing another mono black discard deck today. What's going on lately? I honestly don't know what's happening here. Is it because it's Halloween or something? Okay, Ben goes first. I'm not going to get to keep any of the good cards, so might as well keep it. It doesn't matter what we keep, to be honest. Let me get Thoughtseize, Duress. Oh, aggro. Well, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, so Davriel makes you discard a card, -1, and then if you've got... I was trying to read that. If that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to you. So it's like a very obnoxious style of control. Yeah, it's funny because when people say control, there's so many different ways. Like the stereotypical way of control is obviously blue is what comes to mind, isn't it? Permissions spells that stop your opponent from resolving the spells. Well, I guess in a way black could be seen as stronger because you're not even giving them the chance to cast it. Yeah, definitely interesting to kind of do a thought experiment to see what really defines a deck in that way. The artwork on this is so cool though. Very cool. It's just a shame that the card itself is brutal as heck. Discarding a card. Let's go for the Skull Prophet. Yeah. And what's this? Putrefy. Okay. Okay. So we kill the Knight of the Egon Legion. And then we smack Davriel in the face, get rid of him. So luckily, basically the opponent spent 3 mana to discard 1 card, so that rate is good for us. Spawn of Mayhem, that is not good for us. Eliminate's not going to be good either, because it can't target it. So we do need a black source here. So if our Death Sprout remains in our hand, we can Death Sprout it the following turn. This does have Death Touch though, so we might as well swing in. If they block, that's fine. Also, another upside of Eliminate is it hits Planeswalkers, and in this case it even hits Davriel. So we've got Death Sprout or Eliminate would be good to keep. Well, they'll all be good to keep, but let's face it, I don't think we are we? Bound to lose one of them. So this guy, Flying Wall, discard a card. Another way to discard. Okay, fair enough. Ay. Midnight Reaper. But yeah, I think we have to get rid of this guy now. Discard the Boneyard Lurker. And we do ramp as well. So we're kind of at parity there. We lose a card, but we gain a land. And we swing in. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this Mire Triton. It's pretty awesome. It just seems to last quite a long time. People don't like to use kill spell on it because it's got such low toughness. The Spawn of Mayhem will be problematic. And it could well kill us, and it probably will. God of Teleport 2, the hits keep coming. No discards. Do we have any big creatures? No, we don't have any big creatures. Okay. Let's get some lifelink out. And he's got Menace. So even if he does attack, we can trade here. Unless they kill one of our dudes, then we don't. Cube. Ay. So that's going to be down to 4. Okay. Thought C is not useful. So unfortunately, I think they've got us here because they've got the 4 flying in the air. They've got the 5/6 Menace, and we don't have anything big to revive, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, the best we can really do is play Midnight Reaper. And pass to the opponent. Yeah, they just had perfect sequences there. So it turns out that Davriel was just kind of a cover-up. It wasn't really a control discard deck after all. It's actually more of an aggro deck. I quite like their build though. It's a pretty cool build. It's actually very subversive, which I find really good. That's another part of the game which is interesting, like the psychology of... Obviously, at the beginning I was saying he was a control deck, but in reality, it was very aggressive. So there you have it. Okay, so our next opponent is Swirly Whirly Flying Bird Snake Man. Our starting hand is not good at all. We need some more land. This is more like it. Duress is fantastic. Duress into Grizzly Selvage into Midnight Reaper. Sounds lovely to me. So Swirly Whirly Snake Man is the 3 Azorius card used a lot in Standard at the time to flicker everything they have, so it's very, very powerful. Doesn't seem like it, but being able to flicker 4 or 5 things, getting double the value is scary. What should I do? I could go for turn 1 now. So we'll start with a Temple because I want to play. Okay, a land, that's good, and it's a white source. So we could go tap land, Duress, or we could go Grizzly Salvage. It's an instant. Yeah, let's go Duress. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay, ramp, removal, protection, removal. Let's go for the ramp. So yeah, they could remove our thing with Borrowed Time. So if we do play the Midnight Reaper, we could be saying goodbye to it. So maybe that was the best hit. It's fine. It's fine. Let's get it out of their hand. At least that way they can't get rid of our Nethroi immediately with it. So we have to be cognizant of this portable hole. We don't want to play anything 2 mana C or less, because I'll just exile it. We do have a lot of ways to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Borrowed Time, cool art. Teferi doing some stuff there to some werewolf. I think Teferi is actually breaking all its limbs, to be honest. And in hindsight, this is actually quite horrendous. So yeah, we'll play Grisly Salvage end of their turn. The issue with facing Yorion is the longer the game goes, the more advantage they're going to have. Oh, they're a mill deck, but although saying that, we don't mind a bit of mill, just a little bit. We can get stuff out of the graveyard that way. Grisly Salvage is awesome. Milling 5, then putting a creature or land from those cards into your hand. Opponent here is deep in the think tank of whether to get a plains or an island. There we go, so it comes up with the island. Gemrazer. Gemrazer would be good. Okay. Oh, we've even got Stitch's Supplier. So yeah, we can go. Is this a human? It's a zombie. Fantastic. We'll do some shenanigans then in that case. This is the most. I mean, okay, I was going to say it looks human, but yeah, when you look closely, there's like pipes and stuff coming out of her face. Yeah, and apparently that's enough to win. I'm not really sure why. They could have. So I would have destroyed Borrowed Time. We would have got the Midnight Reaper back. In their turn, they play the land. They could cast Yorion to block. They can't see what's in our hand. That's the weird part. Like, they don't know we have these removal spells. So the fact they quit there, it's a bit unusual. To lose one piece and just to quit, even if it wasn't mana or a key piece, is a bit weird as well. Yeah, strange. Okay, so we're facing a Scarab God deck, so I'm not sure if this is a good, bad, or bad matchup because they can resurrect our stuff. They can pay 4 to exile a creature from a graveyard and then create a token of it that's a zombie. So once we start milling, this is bad. So essentially we have to race them. Which is, I guess that's just every game of Magic, isn't it? Racing people to the finish. So they're probably just looking at Nethroi and thinking, oh, this is going to be a good matchup. And it probably is for them. We've got a few tricks up our sleeve. We've got Journey to Eternity, so if one of our things dies, we can bring it back. It's pretty useful. Okay. Let's go for Glowspore Shaman here. See if we get a land on top. Okay, that's good, so we just put that on top of the deck. It's a shame that doesn't say to hand. It does slow you down a turn in some ways. But I guess it does ensure that you hit your lands early. I think this was a lot better in Standard. So no, we don't want to block with that. Okay, so they want to ramp and gain 2 cards, which is a legit move. People do that in the Standard at the moment. So it ramps them as well. We're 1 turn closer to their Scarab God. See if we can enchant our Glowspore Shaman here. Negate, wow, okay. Well, I guess they've slowed themselves down 1 turn, so it's not too bad. A Yara. So I think we can freely attack here. I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to block with that. Yep, thought as much. So once we get to 6 mana, if we can cast the casualties, that's going to be fantastic. We will need another swamp for that though. So Ayara is good, but I feel like she's a lot better in lower curve decks with a lot more aggro. But I guess they've got, yeah, they've got some good cards here. Sawtusk Demolisher. So we can mutate here. What should we do? Give it Death Touch as well? No, Death Touch is already good, so give it to the thing that isn't as good in combat. Kill their dual land. And then we swing in. Doesn't really matter if they trade because they'll have to lose 2 things. I'm happy to trade for any of their items here. That's a huge swing, taking their mana out as well, because that was the difference between them having Scarab God next turn and not. So by doing that, we've bought ourselves some time. If we get 1 more mana, that'll be perfect, because we could use the Starrix or the casualties. But they still don't swing. Yeah, I guess we go for the Starrix here. Let's mutate again. So we get another trigger, so we can slow them down once more. Absolutely brutal. I mean, they are getting 3/3s out of this. Oh, sweet. Arena's a great top deck. So we won't use the Fabled Passage until we draw Arena. And then we'll pass the turn. So yeah, the Sawtusk Demolisher is just absolutely brutal. I think in Historic, people can do this on like turn 2, which is just that's game ending at that point. Any creatures in the yard? Only 1, not very good one. So we've bought 2 extra turns here. Shall we risk it? We could. So here's the thing. So let's go for the mana first. If I go for Nethroi, mutating onto the Sawtusk Demolisher, if they counter it, that is bad. But we can still do it next turn if we get a land. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so we're going to get another trigger. Destroy one of the lands. So they are getting a heck of a lot of beasts, but we can even cast a Phyrexian Arena, so this is looking pretty juicy right now. So this guy's got so many abilities that you can't actually read it on the card. Trample, Death Touch, Lifelink, all sorts of stuff. Okay. So they keep drawing the lands they need to cast Scarab God, but they don't actually have Scarab God. Bloodfast is good. So what can we do here? Let's start with the Argyle's Bloodfast to see if there's anything they want to counter. And then let's try the Casualties of War. Creature and land. So let's go for the Reaper and the Island. See what they do. Okay, so it looks like they're getting a bit desperate, sacrificing the Zombie Lord there. So again, they're probably drawn into a land. think we could start swinging in with the smaller guys here. So next turn we do represent lethal because this guy has he's death touch and trample. So even if they block, they'll still take 5. Do they have anything to stop us? They have no blue, because we've made sure to get rid of all of that. Cool, so they're going to reduce their life even more for us. Yeah, so I think they're dead. Unless they can kill the Sawtusk Demolisher. But then we can just cast it again, so it's not too bad. Eaten alive. Cool. We might as well just draw a response. Regrowth, that's pretty good. Although I've just realised that Eaten Alive says exile, so they actually exiled a forced... Whoa, that's a huge stack. 3 creatures, yeah, that is annoying. Okay, so what could we bring back with the regrowth? Yeah, so I guess we swing in with these guys. So the 2/1 death touch there is going to prove to be useful. So if Ayara sacks the champion, our Triton survives. Okay, so we could be extra cruel here. I mean, that is why you're watching the video, isn't it? You want to see me be evil. That's why you're here. So let's just casualties again. Creature in the land. Stop them from ever casting the Scarab God. And yep, that's 1 casualties too much there. Cool. If you guys enjoyed watching these videos today, don't forget to check out my other videos on my channel. And most of all, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this.